What happens when you let the enemy defeat you? What happens to your stamina? What happens to your character? What happens to your self-belief, to your courage? It begins to dwindle. The enemies are plotting against you and I. When we've made up our mind, because we made up our mind, I'm determined every single day. That doesn't mean that I have a fantastic, terrific, over the top in spite of, and because of every single day. You know, in my mind I do, but outside of my mind I have no control over what comes at me. I know that there's enemies out in the world. I know that there are enemies even within my own mind. And I have to be reminding myself of these things every single day. Because, first of all, once again, I want to say that this is Santos Jr., A.k.a. Soldier of Self-Mastery, Philosopher of Everyday Victorious Living. If I don't train myself every single day, I'm going to end up getting defeated. This battle that you and I are in is a lifelong battle. It only ends when we are no longer here. Every day, you and I must wake up and do certain rituals to prepare ourselves. You and I must be determined. Now, the enemy can hear that word, obviously. The enemy of your mind, and the enemy that works against you, right? And the good stuff that you want to work within you against the enemy. There's all this reprogramming going on in our mental, in our psyche, in our mind. And you and I do not want to be defeated. You and I do not want to live a defeated life. You and I do not want to be hiding. We don't want to live in darkness. We don't want to live in depression. We don't want to live in any of those. Those are like the enemy's territory. Now, we're going to go through some stuff, obviously. But one thing that you and I have to do, we must work at daily, is we must train. We must train ourselves to become stronger. We must train ourselves to know who the enemy is, what the enemy is, and how the enemy operates, so that we can defeat that enemy. For a very long time, you and I have been feeding that enemy, that negative addiction, whatever it may be, for a very long time. We've been feeding it, right? The mind doesn't know any better. And all of a sudden, we try to put a stop to it. We throw a monkey wrench into the system because we want it to go this way, right? Instead of going this way, we want it to go this way. We want it to go in a different direction. So, the enemy, number one, the enemy is not going to lay flat and let you steamroll him, whether you're a man or a woman. You can be determined, and that's one of the key things to training, is determination, my friend. You have to absolutely be determined to win over your enemies, over your negative addictions, through empowerment of the positive life hacks. You have to train. You have to train yourself. There's a lot that goes into transforming your life. I've been thinking about this more and more lately. Temptations and triggers, and why we do what we do, and why we're not doing what we should be doing. You know, all of these life hacks all of these tools and different things that we need to be using and calling upon every single day as part of our, like being a soldier. I remember I went to boot camp. What did they do in boot camp? In boot camp, they prepare you for the battle. They prepare you physically, they prepare you mentally. And in a sense, they prepare you spiritually too, because spiritual is also part of life. Now, I'm going to be ending soon here. I don't want to keep this video too long. If you're like me, I want to win every single day. I want better. I want to make sure that I leave a solid legacy. I want to make sure that I'm prepared every single day, because sometimes I don't know where the enemy's going to show up. I can be prepared and I can be training, but I don't know exactly when the enemy is going to show up. But I definitely want to be prepared for him or it. Is this the way that you think? Do you think this way? And how are you doing with your training? I know I'm a little bit further along the road than others, but I can tell you that triggers and temptations and these battles that we fight, that we're in, they're not just going to go away. They are not just going to go away. So you and I have a grave responsibility every single day to prepare ahead of time, to know the enemy, to smell. We got to learn what is the enemy smell? What does he sound like? What's his music? Right? We should be able to see the enemy coming. And at times that we won't. But if we are determined, if we are prepared, if we are training to get rid of that glass jaw, when we do get hit, boom, we'll be able to turn and we'll be able to take it. And we will be able to fight back, because that's what we want to do, right? These negative thoughts, these negative paradigms that are fighting against you, we must learn to put them in their place. Believe me, there's a lot of plotting, there's a lot of restructuring going on. Obviously, if you're working on yourself, right? But the enemies that we are up against, they're just not going to go hide someplace. That's not going to happen. It would be nice if it worked out that way, but it just doesn't. So, determination is key. Training is key. You got to know who you are. You got to know what it is that you want. You got to know your enemy. And you might know, you might want to study a little bit more than just know your enemy. Okay? There's triggers, there's temptations. There's all kinds of ways that the enemy can plot against you. But the more that you're prepared, the more that you realize, okay, I made it 3 days, I made it a week, I've been here 2 months, 3 months. Something's coming, and I'm prepared for it. I'm definitely prepared for it. So let's keep winning. Let's not let the mind accuse us or make us believe that we are stuck with no way out. Don't ever allow your mind to do that to you. Accuse you, point a finger, or try to cast a set of new chains on you, because you are beginning to move in the right direction. Do not let the enemy do that. The moment that your mind begins to accuse you, and believe me, if you understand what I'm getting at, this is very, very dynamic, because your mind has a way of enslaving you, putting chains on you, if you will, if you let it. Remember, the battle is won here first before it could be won without. So, if you've enjoyed this video, share it, post it somewhere, give me a thumbs up, comment, and I will see you on my very next one on the inside at the very top, my friend, making every single day a super fantastic, terrific, over the top day, daily, in spite of and because of. Peace through strength. You can do this. You can win. You can win over your enemy. If I can, you can. I believe in you, my friend. Remember to make every single day a super fantastic, terrific, over the top day. Daily, in spite of and because of. Soldier Self Mastery out.